I get a lot of questions about reeds, anything from what brand of reed should I play to what strength reed should I play, how do I know when a reed is worn out, it's time to replace a reed. So in this video, in this question and answer video, I thought I'd give you some of my suggestions regarding reeds. Now first, let me mention that I don't endorse any particular brand of reed, but I do have a couple of favorites that I play. So if you're interested and want to send me an email, I'd be happy to recommend a couple of brands. Next, I'd like to talk to you about reed size, or reed strength, I should say. If you're a beginning saxophone player and you've purchased an instrument or rented one, you probably had a reed that was supplied with the instrument, and it's more than likely a softer reed like a number 2, maybe even a 2.5. So, in the beginning stages of saxophone playing, I'd certainly suggest that you go with one of these softer reeds at first, a 2, 2.5. And over the course of a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, if you don't break the reed, you'll wear it out over 2 to 3 weeks if you play a fair amount. So at that point, maybe get a box of 2 reeds or 2.5 reeds, probably the 2.5 or even 2 medium or 2 soft. Reeds are sized reeds are sized a couple of different ways. You'll find some brands that size them 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4. Some are sized more like 2 soft, 2 medium, 2 hard, 3 medium, 3 hard, 3 soft. So anyway, at the beginning stages, go with a softer reed, and then as you get a little more comfortable with your embouchure, move on to a slightly harder reed. Keep in mind that harder does not necessarily mean better. So I would not suggest that you try to work your way up to a number 4, for instance. I've been playing many years, and I'm still playing just a 3 medium reed because I find it really gives me the warmest tone, the best response, and it's really what I'm looking for. I used to play a harder reed when I was playing with rock bands and funk bands, and I needed to play loud. I would play a harder reed, but then I lost some of the subtleties that came with being able to play softer with a softer reed. So I've settled down into a slightly softer 3 medium size reed. Now, over time, you'll really get to know what it is you're looking for out of a reed, and really it depends on the mouthpiece too that you're playing, the mouthpiece and your embouchure, and your personal strength and endurance as far as what number reed you start to settle into over time. Now, let's talk about some of the things you should do with a reed. I like to recommend with particularly beginning students or even just students, and often I'll do the same thing, numbering reeds and having them on a rotation. I don't know if you can see this, but I've written a number 1 on this reed. I might have 4 or 5 reeds that I have numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and have them on a daily rotation, and that way I can compare reeds, really start to realize or recognize which reeds I like the best, and that way I know which reeds to delegate for practicing on and the better ones to delegate maybe for performing on. So I would recommend that you number your reeds, and it can also help you determine if you're running into any kind of squeaking or squawking issues. If the horn doesn't seem to be playing right, you might try different reeds and really determine, well, the reed is the problem, the embouchure is the problem, or maybe the horn needs to see a repairman, if that could even be an issue. Now, one thing that a lot of people don't realize when they put the instrument together, a lot of times folks will wet just the tip of the reed, either in their mouth or in a cup of water, but really it's important to wet both ends of the reed. So you see I'm wetting the tip, and I'm also wetting the butt end of the reed, because the butt end of the reed seals against the mouthpiece. The saliva helps create that seal, and the reed vibrates better. So when you assemble your instrument, be sure to wet both ends of that reed. Now, another thing I like to do with new reeds is I like to rub them down. So let me adjust the camera here. I'll set up an area and show you how I rub reeds down. So here you can see I have a piece of flat, smooth tile. I've wet my reed up. I'm going to hold it against the tile, and you can do this on a countertop. You can do this on anything that's smooth, hard, smooth surface. I'm holding the reed, the wet reed there, and I'm going to rub into the grain of the reed, and I'm applying a good bit of pressure as I do this. Now, I'm going to rub this 4 or 5 times, and then when I put it back into my mouth, I can feel actually a change in the texture of the reed. It'll be smoother and almost a slicker type feeling on the reed, and the reed will also play much more responsively. Now, you might want to note that some folks go through a process of sanding reeds. There are different ways that folks will work on reeds to try to improve the response on reeds. I don't know about you, but my practice time is at a premium, so I like to just go with the numbering system of rotating my reeds and rubbing the reeds down, locating the ones that play best, and those are the ones that I'll use for performance situations. The other ones I might use just for some practice, or even if it's a really bad reed, it might end up hitting the trash can. So I'm really pretty selective about the reeds that I like to perform on, just because I know at this point, after many years of playing, exactly what I'm looking for out of a reed to get my personal sound and also just the best response possible. Now, the process of us putting the reed on the mouthpiece, all that, we're not going to go through in this video. I covered that in the beginning sax lessons, and so that's that's a process that you'll need to learn about through that series there. But one other thing I want to talk about in this video is how do you know when it's time to change a reed? Generally, you can expect to get, and it's different with different reeds, but you can expect to get 2 to 3 weeks out of a reed. You might even get more than that out of a good reed. So, and if you got your reeds on a rotation system, you'll certainly get more than 2 to 3 weeks out of a reed. But the way I know it's time to replace the reed or change the reed is when the intonation, the tuning on the reed becomes less stable. Maybe the reed starts to squeak, or the tone quality is not quite as consistent as it was in the earlier stages with a more lively reed. When a reed starts to get a thin sound, then I know it's time to replace the reed. When the high notes get difficult or don't respond as well, I know it's time to replace the reed. So just when the performance of the reed starts to suffer, then you know it's time to replace the reed. So again, that's something that you'll learn to gauge as you get more comfortable and confident with playing the instrument. So hopefully this answers a few of your questions about reeds. If you have more questions, please contact me, because I'm always looking for more material and more information that I can offer in the form of these beginning sax questions and answers. As always, I'd love to hear from you, so please feel free to drop me a note at any time. Okay, take care.